Hello, English learners, and welcome. I'm your host, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Okay, so have you ever been like watching a movie or maybe listening to native English speakers and it just sounds like, well, a total blur of words. You catch a word here, maybe one there, but most of it just flies right past you.
Oh, absolutely. It's a super common feeling.
Right. And if you've thought, oh man, my English just isn't good enough, I really want to say that's completely normal to feel that way. But here's the interesting part. It might not actually be about your English level in the way you think.
Exactly. That's a really key point. English sounds fast. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's often not because speakers are genuinely talking, miles a minute compared to other languages.
Okay.
It's more about how we talk, how native speakers connect words, how we reduce sounds, basically how we speak naturally, efficiently. It's just different from textbook English. Very different.
And that difference, that's what we're getting into today. This is our mission for this deep dive, to really unpack why fast English feels so hard, look at how native speakers actually talk, and most importantly, give you some really powerful strategies, tools to sharpen your listening.
Yeah, practical stuff.
Exactly. The goal is that by the end, you'll feel, well, more confident, ready to tackle English even when it sounds fast. So maybe grab something to take notes.
Let's do it.
All right. So this idea, native speakers talk at lightning speed. Is there any truth to that? Is English actually, objectively faster?
Well, it's interesting. If you measure, say, syllables per second, English isn't necessarily faster than lots of other languages.
Huh. Well,
but it feels faster. And a big reason is how we sort of compress information. Our brains, when we listen to fast English, aren't just waiting for each word perfectly pronounced.
Right.
We're predicting, we're matching patterns. We've got these mental shortcuts almost. We recognize chunks of sound, not just single syllables.
Chunks of sound. Soundscapes, you called it earlier. I like that.
Yeah, soundscapes. So just knowing the vocabulary isn't quite enough. You have to train your ear for these typical English soundscapes.
Okay, so let's peel back the first layer then. Reason one, connected speech. This is where words kind of smush together.
That's a good way to put it, smush together.
Yeah.
We link them. The boundaries between words just blur. So what are you doing? Nobody really says what you're doing.
Right.
It comes out as what you're doing or what you're doing. The sounds just flow together, like notes in a chord, maybe. You hear the whole thing.
What are you doing? Yeah, perfect example. And the guide also mentions, did you eat? Often becomes...
Did you eat? Yeah. Or even faster sometimes.
Did you eat? Okay. And if you're expecting did you eat, that's got to be confusing. It feels like sounds are just disappearing.
Well, they sort of are from a purely acoustic standpoint compared to the written form. But our brains are amazing at filling in the gaps.
Yeah, context.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Context prediction. A lot of those missing sounds aren't actually essential for understanding. It makes speaking faster, more efficient.
Okay, efficiency for the speaker, and the listener's brain does some lifting too. Makes sense. So that's connected speech, which leads nicely into the next point, word reductions. Words don't just link, they actually shrink.
They shrink, yes.
Yeah.
Especially vowel sounds. They also reduce down to this tiny, weak sound called schwa. It's like the sound takes almost no effort.
Okay.
So going to becomes gonna.
Yep.
Want to becomes wanna. Gotta becomes gotta. And then you have all the standard contractions like I am to I'm, he will to he'll.
Right, those two.
If you're not used to hearing these super common reduced forms, it really does feel like words are just poof, gone.
Poof. Exactly, like they're hiding. How do you even catch them? Is it just listening more?
Listening more helps, definitely. But it's also about knowing what to listen for, recognizing these patterns. Because often you get strings of reductions together, which changes the whole sound. And this ties into the third thing, unstressed words and dropped sounds.
Okay, so related to reductions.
Very related. See, in English, not every word gets the same stress, the same emphasis. Some words are strong, usually the important meaning words, nouns, verbs.
Right.
And others are weak, often function words like to, the a, is. And these weak words get spoken really quickly, often reduced.
Okay, so in I went to the store.
Perfect example. To the becomes almost like tufa, or even shorter. Super weak, super fast. They almost disappear between the stressed words went and store.
Yeah, you barely hear them.
Or think of a word like internet. Often people say internet. That middle to sound just gets softened or dropped.
Yeah, internet happens all the time. And what about, I don't know, that one trips people up?
Big one, yeah.
Yeah.
Very often becomes, I don't know, the tit din don't just vanishes completely.
I don't know. Wow. Okay, so you put all this together. The linking, the shrinking, the dropped sounds. What does this mean for you, the listener, if you're struggling?
It means, and this is really crucial, it's probably not that your fundamental English knowledge is bad. It's that spoken English, the real stuff, follows different rules than written English, or that super clear English you might have learned first.
The sound rules are different.
Exactly. The sounds shift, they reduce, they merge. Learning to recognize those patterns, decoding them. That's the absolute key.
Okay, the key is decoding these patterns. We've kind of diagnosed the problem, looked under the hood of fast English. So now, let's talk solutions. How do you actually train your ears to decode this stuff?
Right. Let's get practical. Because feeling frustrated that you can't catch every word is common, but there are definitely things you can do. Powerful techniques.
Good. Let's hear them.
These aren't just random tips either. They're about really training your brain, your auditory system, building that internal, let's call it an acoustic map of English.
An acoustic map. I like that. Okay. Strategy one you mentioned is train with slow, then fast speech. Seems logical, but why does it work so well?
Think of it like weightlifting for your ears. You start with a lighter weight you can manage.
Okay.
So listen to something, a podcast, YouTube video at maybe 0.75x speed first. Your brain has more time to catch those links, those reductions you might normally miss. You consciously identify them.
Ah, okay. You spot them in slow motion.
Exactly. Then listen again at normal speed, 1x. And often you'll find your brain now recognizes those patterns it just learned to spot. It clicks. Lots of platforms, YouTube, Netflix, let you adjust the speed easily.
Yeah, that speed control is brilliant. Such a simple, powerful tool. Okay, strategy two. Listen and read at the same time, using subtitles or transcripts. Why is this one such a game changer?
Because it creates this direct link in your brain. You're seeing the word, and at the exact same time, you're hearing how it actually sounds in context with all the linking, reducing, dropping.
So your brain connects the visual word to the real sound.
Precisely. It helps map the written form to the spoken reality. It's like giving your brain a real-time answer key or a cheat sheet for how the language sounds when people actually use it.
A cheat sheet. Love it.
You can do it with anything, podcasts, with transcripts, audiobooks, TV shows. Listen with the text first, then try turning it off.
Great idea. Okay, which leads to strategy three, which sounds even more active. Shadowing. What exactly is that?
Shadowing is super effective. It's basically listening to a short chunk of speech, a sentence, maybe just a phrase, and repeating it immediately, like an echo, almost talking over the speaker.
Oh, okay. Not waiting till they finish?
No, ideally with as little delay as possible. So you hear, what do you want to do? And you instantly say, what do you want to do? Right back, trying to copy the speed, the rhythm, the intonation.
Wow. So you're mimicking them in real time.
Exactly. And the beauty is, it does two things at once. It forces your ears to really tune into the flow and sounds of fast speech. And it dramatically improves your own pronunciation and fluency because you're practicing making those natural sounds yourself. Your mouth learns the patterns too.
Ear training and pronunciation practice rolled into one. That's smart. Very efficient.
It really connects listening and speaking in your brain.
Okay, powerful stuff. Strategy four. Focus on keywords, not every single word. This feels important because trying to catch everything seems impossible sometimes.
It often is impossible and unnecessary. Native speakers don't hang on every single word either. You need to train your ears and your brain to zoom in on the important words, the content words, the keywords that carry the main message.
So filter out the noise, basically.
Kind of. If someone asks, do you want to grab some coffee later? Don't stress about catching do and to and some perfectly. Focus on the core. Want coffee later.
Want coffee later. Yeah, that gives you the meaning.
Exactly. That's usually enough to understand what they're asking. It's about understanding the intent, the main idea, not necessarily parsing every grammatical function word perfectly.
Get the gist. Okay. And the final strategy, number 5. Listen every day, even just for a little bit. Consistency.
This one is huge. Consistency is king. The more you expose your brain to natural English, the more those neural pathways for recognizing patterns get reinforced. It becomes more automatic.
So even 5 minutes counts.
Absolutely. Even 5 minutes of active listening a day. Put on a podcast snippet, a YouTube clip, maybe even listen closely to the lyrics of an English song. Try to spot those features we talked about.
Just keep feeding your brain the input.
Yep. Over time, your ears just adjust. They calibrate. What sounded like a blur before starts to become clearer, more understandable. It really works.
Okay, fantastic strategies. So we know why English sounds fast, and we've got these tools: slow fast, listen read, shadowing, keywords, daily listening. Now let's talk about putting it all into practice with, well, real conversations. The
Yep.
ultimate test.
Exactly, because exercises are great, but eventually you want to understand people in actual spontaneous dialogue. That's the goal.
Right. And that real context is where you really get the natural speed, the messy overlaps, the real flow.
You just can't fully replicate that richness in a controlled exercise.
Totally agree. So how can people practice with real conversations? Method one you suggested is watching TV shows, movies, YouTube, stuff with real dialogue.
Yeah, things where people are actually talking to each other naturally. Sitcoms like Friends, The Office, Modern Family, they're full of everyday chat.
Good examples.
Or on YouTube, look for interviews, vlogs where people are just talking, panel discussions maybe. Again, use subtitles at first if you need them. Then challenge yourself, turn them off. Pay attention to how they link words, how they reduce things.
Notice the naturalness. Okay, method two. Listen to podcasts with real conversations. Like this one, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. Many podcasts are unscripted, just people talking. It's a fantastic source of authentic spoken English. You get hesitations, interruptions, everything.
And you suggested active listening here, too.
Definitely. Don't just let it wash over you. Pause after a sentence or a thought. Try to repeat it back, mimicking the speed and the intonation. It really cements it in your brain.
Pausing and repeating. Good active technique. Okay, and method three, the most direct. Actually have conversations with real people.
If you can, yes. If you have English-speaking friends, colleagues, neighbors, try to chat with them. Don't be afraid to ask them to slow down a bit if needed, but try to get used to their natural pace.
What if you don't have people around easily?
Online language exchanges are brilliant for that. So many platforms connect learners. And here's a little trick I recommend. Talk to yourself.
Haha, really?
Seriously, have imaginary conversations in English. Respond out loud, try to speak quickly and naturally. It sounds a bit weird, but it's zero pressure practice for thinking and responding on the fly.
No pressure, just practice. I like it. Okay, this leads us to something you said is maybe the most crucial thing, a mindset shift. And that is, stop translating everything in your head.
Oh, this is a huge one. A massive roadblock for so many learners.
Why is it such a big deal?
Because it creates this processing delay. You hear English, you translate to your native language, you figure out the meaning, you formulate a reply in your language, then translate back to English. By the time you've done all that,
The conversation has moved on.
exactly, you're always lagging behind. Native speakers aren't going to pause and wait for your internal translation department to catch up.
Right. So what's the alternative? How do you stop?
You have to train your brain to operate directly in English, think in English.
Yeah.
And a key part of that is learning to recognize whole phrases, chunks of meaning, rather than individual words.
Chunking again.
Yes. So instead of hearing, what do you want to do, and translating each word, train your brain to hear, what do you want to do, as one single idea, one unit.
Like it's one big word almost.
Kind of, yeah. A meaning unit. It's so much more efficient. You process the meaning directly, not word by word.
Okay, think in chunks, process meaning directly. And related to that, you also said focus on the overall meaning, the gist, not catching every single word.
Absolutely. Aim for comprehension, not perfection. If you get the main idea, if you understand what the person is trying to communicate, you've succeeded.
Even if you missed a few small words.
Even if you missed quite a few. Honestly, native speakers don't consciously register every single word in fast chat either. We use context, we predict, we focus on the core message. The real question is, how much info do you really need to get the point and respond? Often, it's less than you think.
Right. Understanding the message is the goal. Wow, okay. We have covered a lot here.
We have.
From, understanding why English sounds all that fascinating stuff about linking, reductions, drop sounds, to these really practical strategies. Slow, then fast, listen and read, shadowing, focusing on keywords, listening every day.
Yeah, the toolbox.
Exactly, the toolbox. Plus, practicing with real conversations, TV, podcasts, real people, and that huge mindset shift. Stop translating, think in English chunks, focus on the meaning.
And I think the big takeaway, the thing to really hold on to is, please don't get discouraged if you don't understand everything right away. Listening to fast English, really understanding it, it's a skill. And like any skill, playing piano, learning to cook, whatever, it just takes time and consistent practice.
It really does. It's a journey. So, okay, here's a little challenge for you listening right now. For the next 7 days, just pick one thing, one exercise from our toolbox today.
Just one.
Yeah. Maybe it's finding 1 minute each day to actively listen for connected speech.
Mm.
Or maybe you pick one short audio clip and try shadowing it a few times. Or maybe you really focus on not translating in your head during your next listening practice.
Any one of those would be great.
Pick one, try it for a week, and
Yeah.
just see what happens. See if you notice a difference. We think you will.